We're at the IAS meeting with Simon Collins, who's with iBase, and also with a partner study as a community representative. And it's a good thing to hear this news yet again, more defined, more specific, more pronounced. It's really a great. Give us the background at first, because
so I think you're right, Fred. It is fantastic news. I like being a treatment reporter when we can report good news, and this is the result of a tremendous amount of work, huge amount of work over 8 years. This research group has been trying really hard to find out whether transmission occurs, whether we can find a case of HIV transmission, and when the positive partner in a couple is on treatment with an undetectable viral load, and the couple are already not always using condoms, because this message has been around for a long time.
Right. And originally the study's been going on for 8 years, so originally it was, like you said, all people.
Yep.
So, but you didn't have enough of the gay partners to actually make it representative or get to the answers that you needed.
So we tried to enroll. Everybody was able to enroll. Whether you're gay or straight, you could join the original study, which started back in about 2010. And then over that enrollment period, it just turned out that about 2/3 of the couples were straight and a third of the couples were gay. And so we just wanted to make sure there was equality between those two data sets. We wanted to make sure we had a similar level of data in gay couples, so that you could be as confident that the results were going to be zero.
So this, the study that they're presenting is going to be, we're giving it we don't usually do this, but this is happening tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow, or actually the next day.
So
but the press conference is happening tomorrow.
Press conference happens tomorrow. Bizarrely, the press conference happens before the actual presentation.
Yeah.
And so the poor researchers have got to sit there without even presenting any slides, summarize their data in a minute, and suddenly everybody's supposed to report it. It's ridiculous. You really need to go and see the full data to realize how carefully this study was being conducted, and get a real idea of how the research was done, and that's being presented the next day.
Right, but when you, the audience, see this, we'll all be over.
So
we'll all be presented.
Hopefully, the embargo's not going to be breaking.
We're getting a quiet scoop.
You're going to hold on to this for a little, for a day, and then before you can release it. Yeah.
But it's so. Can you tell us any of the tidbits that are tantalizing or exciting or?
So the big news is that we continued, the original study continued to follow the gay couples in the original study, and it enrolled more gay couples, and we got about more than 900 gay couples connected with the study, and the results now include about 1,600 couple years of follow-up, which is how the research works, and these couples overall had sex around 77,000 times without condoms. So we actually know
total number of sexual experiences.
They had sex 77,000 times, and were tracked and reporting it and logging it, and just saying how that when their risks could have occurred. And so from that we can say that in those 77,000 times there were no cases of HIV transmission from the positive partner to the negative partner.
On the other hand, there are people out there that are practicing rather risky sex and not having any protection, and are presuming that people are being treated or not, or whatever, but they're not on treatment, and we have.
So that's sort of beyond that's beyond the study. That sort of real life stuff is just life is complex, and for all sorts of reasons, probably the reason infections still occur is that people don't realize they're HIV positive in the first place.
Or they don't want to know. They're hiding it from themselves.
No, I don't think that. I think generally people assume that they're not positive because it's a difficult thing to come to terms with. And so for all sorts of reasons, just getting appointments, believing that you're genuinely negative is probably the reason that most people don't test. Because when people do test, the majority, and find out they're positive, the shock of that means that it was really unexpected. or most people who test positive really don't think it was going to happen to them, and then that jolt means they start treatment usually and become undetectable, and the data from the partner study shows that once you're undetectable, you are no longer at risk for your partners, you don't have to worry about that risk for your partner.
So we need to get more people tested more frequently, or as frequently as makes sense, and get them on treatment as soon as they are able to make that happen.
So broadly, that's what guidelines say. It's better, once you know you're positive, it's better to be on treatment than to be off treatment, even just for your own health. That's the main thing. And then the implications from the partner study are really should be rolling over to tackle some of the discrimination and the stigma and the fear that's still about HIV. You know, a lot of HIV positive people hold on to a lot of fear that they might be a risk to their partners. That upsets their sex life. Nobody quite relaxes. The negative part of me doesn't relax. The positive part doesn't relax. Lots of HIV positive people stop having sex for years because they were just worried about not wanting to infect anybody else. And we provide a really careful, solid data set that shows that with an undetectable viral load, infections don't occur.
So this message needs to really get out because it's evidence that shows that if you're on treatment, it's going to be a good thing for you and your partner or any partners, and it's the way of the future.
I think it's fantastically good news, and it connects with the U equals U, undetectable equals untransmissible campaign that's been going on for a couple of years, which was also linked to the same research, and this is having a big impact on people's lives, definitely.
So how long will this go on? Do you have any idea?
So the study is now finished. The 8 years of the study is now finished. There were some transmissions. Some of the HIV negative people did become positive, but an important part of the study is that you can take a sample of their virus and you can take a sample of their partner's virus, and you can show that they're so different that the infection came. You know, a lot of couples have open relationships, or they have other partners, and so that's not necessarily a surprise. But the study definitely shows that the infection was not related to their main partner, and that level of confidence is quite good within a relationship, because otherwise the HIV positive person would always be worried that maybe they had infected their partner. So this level of really complicated research is very useful in order to make both couples understand, you know, the reality of what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm excited. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us on it, and I do want people to pay attention to this information. It is genuine science. It's what we needed to know.
Of course, it's genuine science. It's the real stuff. It's good. It's some good news, and I think it will be one of the headline news here that comes from the meeting. And importantly, the researchers took the time to get real evidence from gay couples. You know, and that's evidence, reliable evidence about the risk from anal sex, which is pretty common amongst straight couples as well. You know, but all the previous studies, they hadn't included gay couples, they hadn't included people who said they had anal sex, and so it produces a data set that really makes people more able to accept the reality that actually HIV isn't transmitted when you have an undetectable viral load.
If you want a little more defined, you can look into the research and you can say, this is what's safer than this, and so forth, so you know.
It's exciting. There's subgroups where they say, you know, during the study, some of the couples were diagnosed with STIs. Made no difference. You know, there's people that say, what happens if one of you catches an STI or something happens? Does that change the level of risk? Not in this data set. Makes no difference.
Great information. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being involved with that study.
Great to talk to you at every conference.
Right on time. We're going to be out there with this information when we're allowed to be. So it'll be there.
Thanks very much.